So maybe something we do now is add some materials to our like our primary object. So I kind of want this to be a glass material. So I could probably just reuse my glass material one, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to click that up the top here. You can actually, if I just delete that material, you can scroll along up the top here with the scroll wheel. Just click plus new. Add, we can delete this BSDF and add a glass BSDF instead. Chuck that into surface, and then there's our kind of glass tabletop. You can see it's got like fairly nice reflections, and it kind of works in the context of our environment materials too. Cool, so that's looking okay. And then this here, maybe you want to configure a more specific material for this object here. So maybe we'll go for like maybe we could try creating something like I don't know. We can play around. We'll have a look at like a silver material. Just drag up the metallic slider. Oof, that's pretty hideous. Depending on how this goes, I might just time lapse a bit of this to kind of try and configure a nicer material. Okay, so this might not really be the right material, but I'm kind of just messing around at this point and just playing around. And, as I go and as I move through this process, I'm going to keep refining things and keep refining them. So one other thing that BlenderKit can be really handy for is looking for materials. So maybe I'll look for like a wallpaper material here. And we can find a bunch of different kinds of wallpaper materials and just drag and drop these onto our back wall. So maybe something like this might be hideous. You don't really know until you've kind of applied it. That's pretty hideous. But we can kind of keep trying different materials. One thing you will want to be aware of though is that as you pull different materials into your scene, that's pretty gross too. As you pull different materials into your scene, they're going to be stored in here. And so you're going to want to, after a point in time, you're going to want to probably just purge some of the materials. So I'll show you a couple. We'll try out a couple of different textures here. To be honest, I would probably say with wallpaper, the subtler the better. Some of these are going to look pretty intense, pretty crazy, pretty all over the place. So it's probably better to just configure your own material. Although sometimes you can find, you might even find that like a stucco material or something like that, just like a general kind of general kind of more general material is better. Some of these materials, you can start to see repeating patterns and things. So it's very much a matter of like trying some stuff out. Like this might be nice, but I really don't like the blue color. But as I showed in that material DNA video or in the lecture, we can actually go in here and see that we've got our material DNA, our material node graph here. And if we go into in our base color here, if we add, say, a hue, Shift S, hue, saturation node, just by dropping it onto this wire here, we can start to play around with the saturation and color of that. So we can actually configure these materials to be exactly what we want them to be without, worrying too much about and we can I guess be very specific in how we apply these materials, so that we're getting complementary complementary surfaces. I'm not going to work too hard on this just because I don't want to waste all my time on it, but I will add, let's say if I can find some nice tiles, nice tiled kitchen floor. Oh, that's hideous, I love it. So let's try and find some hideous flooring that we could potentially use. Maybe let's just try flooring instead. We might find some like nice or nice-ish wooden flooring. You got your classic lino. To be honest, none of this is going to look very good, I don't think. But again, you're wanting to go into these textures and actually like apply them in very specific ways, and start to mess around with elements of the material DNA. So like, for example, shifting the scale along the x-axis will give us the ability to kind of like make these a lot thinner. And not every material's configured as well as some of these, but yeah, you can kind of see that you're able to go in, adjust the material, add again that hue saturation slider here if you just want to like ease off the color on that flooring a little bit, and you can like then allow your own object to kind of like stand out and pop a little bit more. And then finally, let's add a material to our, let's just find a wood veneer or something. No, I don't even know if that's how you spell veneer. I mean, we could just probably shorten that to wood, not worry about the veneer. You could maybe look up a specific kind of wood, like maybe you'd go like ash. Maybe it'll come up with ash. Oh yeah, nice. See, this is quite nice. We could maybe take some of these more specific wood types and put them onto our. Oops, not on the window. In fact, did we just? Oh, we did just apply that there. Okay, so we've got ash on here, and again, grab that hue, saturation, chuck it in here, and maybe we just adjust the value, bring the value down so we're getting slightly darker. Darker wood. Where are we? There we go. Because this is a background object, it doesn't matter if it's kind of a little bit bung. We're just kind of here. So we can adjust this. Maybe pull the saturation up because we can go past 1. The value down maybe. Trying to get more of like a browny. I'm holding shift right now to get really like fine control over these sliders here. Yeah, that's better. So we can kind of like, make that something that's not ash, or like as if we've kind of applied a stain to it of some kind. Cool. And so you can see here we're getting somewhere. I don't know that I like it necessarily. Maybe we want to change this. Maybe this is going to be like a real strong contrasting black, or yeah, maybe not full on black, but maybe like a silver or something like that. Maybe we can just mess around with these details a little bit more. Whoops, I just inverted that, didn't I? Flip color ramp. There we go. Yeah, so just play around with things, play around with the environment. This feels to me still a little bit empty, so let's go and find some more, maybe a nice plant, or like a floor plant, like classic ficus. Again, just making sure that we're organizing our assets properly. Grab our ficus, which is apparently animated. Interesting. Not going to bother trying to figure out how, but yeah, we can just chuck this over in the corner here. Maybe we would look for like a shelf or something for the back wall. Some of these are pretty hideous, but like there'll be one or two one or two things in here that can just like disappear into the background. And yeah, depending on what kind of scene you're going for, I'm obviously going for like a, oops, I put that on the wrong axis. Let's try that again. I'll just click on it and it'll dump it in here. But yeah, depending on what you're going for, let's just move that out again. There we go, wooden shelf. Yeah, depending on what you're going for, like this will, the appropriateness of these assets will change. And yeah, how they kind of like suit the scene, how they interact with the other objects around. This will all kind of like, it's down to your personal taste and use of like reference images and stuff to kind of take care of the like appropriateness of one scene versus another. Maybe we want to just move this over and rotate around. Okay, so that's kind of like adding assets. Now, the last thing I'll show you here, we're gonna move into another video because this one's really long. But the last thing I will show you here is just when we've added a bunch of these assets and we've tried out a bunch of materials and things, we're gonna find that we have a scene that's or like a scene that's getting really big and a file, a blend file that's getting really big. Now what we want to do, and if I remember how to do this properly, I think we want to go into the Blender file here. And then if we go into the Blender file, we can look at our materials, and you can see that all of these materials we've tried out are in here. And these materials are actually pretty big. They contain like, this one has like 3 2K textures, so it's like, a couple of megabytes each file. Things are going to get pretty slow and pretty heavy if you've got a whole bunch of materials that you've tried out in here and you're not using them. So like especially these wallpaper materials, what we want to do is just check what material we are using. So we're using Stucco Wall V4. So we can probably take this wallpaper material here and delete it. Take this wallpaper Japanese black and delete that. I don't know what TT checker is. This might be, actually I think that's just a UV diagnosis thing, checker image thing, so we can leave that. But maybe we'll find, Stucco Wall V7, I don't think we'll need that, so we can delete that because we're using Stucco Wall V4. And just be careful that you're not deleting anything that is actually, so you deleted the MDF there, so we can just Control-Z that so that we don't. And then we might have other objects in here or assets in here that maybe we're not using, so you can clean up and remove lots of like unnecessary stuff to clean up your scene. But yeah, we can just switch this back to scenes now. Oops, no, maybe not scene. View layer. Okay, it's a little funny, but view layer is what we want to be looking at. To just kind of configure the scene where it is. So cool. From there, we'll move into another video now and cover a few last things to just like to do with composition and camera control and things like that.